Welcome in, everyone, ready for a deep dive into PEO consolidation. We're going to unpack these billion-dollar deals, AI-powered HR, and how all of that affects you and your business, whether you're already working with a PEO or just thinking about it.
It really has been wild lately. I mean, if you think back just a few years, it was a totally different scene. Now it's mega mergers everywhere, and everyone is trying to figure out what it all means.
You're telling me. The articles you sent, the sheer size of some of these acquisitions. Paychex paying $4.1 billion to buy Paycor. Wow.
It really shows you how the whole strategy is changing. It's not just about adding clients anymore. It's all about getting that tech advantage. Like that Paychex deal, a big reason was Paycor's AI stuff, AI-driven HR.
Yeah. So we're not just talking about automating payroll, right? We're talking about AI that can look at all this employee data and predict turnover, or even tell you what kind of training programs would be best for each person. That's really getting into the future.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes all this consolidation so interesting. It's like this pressure cooker pushing PEOs to offer the most cutting-edge tech, along with their normal services.
Makes sense, but it also makes you wonder about the downsides, especially for businesses that are already with a PEO. Is it all good, or are there some hidden problems?
That's the big question. There's definitely a lot of potential for better services and more resources, but there's also the risk of things getting messed up during the transition. Like imagine your PEO gets bought out, and now you have to switch to a whole new tech platform or deal with all these administrative changes. It could be a huge pain for a business.
For sure. What about prices? After these mergers, do existing clients usually get better deals, or could their costs actually go up?
Honestly, it could go either way. Sometimes these big combined PEOs can get better deals on things like benefits because of their size, and then they pass those savings on to their clients. But sometimes prices go up, especially if the company that bought the PEO is trying to make their money back.
So, sounds like existing PEO clients need to be proactive, maybe even look over their contracts really carefully, just in case.
Yeah, 100%. You have to understand your contract, know what you're entitled to, and make sure you can communicate with your PEO. If you don't know what's happening, that's when the bad surprises can pop up.
Good point. But let's switch gears for a sec. What about businesses that are thinking about using a PEO for the first time? Is now a good time to jump in, or should they wait to see what happens?
Well, it's a really interesting time to be looking for a PEO, that's for sure. You've got all this competition, all these PEOs trying to show how good they are and get new clients. That could mean some pretty sweet deals.
So they're really motivated to impress potential clients, right?
Exactly. They want to prove to investors that they're growing and innovating. So if you're smart, you can use that to your advantage.
I can see how it could be like a buyer's market. But isn't there a chance that these PEOs might promise more than they can actually deliver just to get new clients?
That's always a possibility, which is why it's so important to do your research. You have to look past the marketing hype and really understand their track record, their tech, their finances, their whole plan for the future.
Sounds like you really have to do your homework before signing anything.
Absolutely. You also need to think about what you need and what your goals are. What are the problems you're trying to solve? What do you want to achieve by working with a PEO? Once you know that, you can start comparing different providers and see which one is the best fit.
It seems like the industry matters a lot, too. You mentioned in one of the articles that certain industries, like healthcare, really benefit from partnering with PEOs.
Yeah, healthcare is a perfect example because of all the compliance rules, especially IPA pay. Imagine a small medical practice trying to keep up with all that paperwork and legal stuff. It's a nightmare. A PEO can handle all that, so healthcare providers can focus on what they do best, which is taking care of patients.
It's like having a whole team of HR and compliance experts on your side. What other industries are really jumping on the PEO bandwagon?
Tech companies, for sure. Think about the startups that are growing really fast and expanding to different states or even countries. They have to deal with a ton of employment laws, benefits rules, and payroll complexities.
Right, and they'd rather be focusing on their tech and products than all that HR stuff.
Exactly. A PEO can take care of all that, so tech companies can stay nimble and keep innovating.
So healthcare and tech are leading the way, but I bet other industries are catching on too.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of growth in PEOs across all kinds of industries, from professional services and construction to manufacturing and hospitality. Basically, any industry that's dealing with complicated HR issues and wants to reduce their risk can benefit from a PEO.
It sounds like PEOs are becoming more and more important for businesses today. But with all this change happening, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? How can they make sure they're making smart decisions in this changing landscape?
That's the million-dollar question. I think it all comes down to being proactive and having a plan. You need to stay up to date on the latest trends in the PEO market, and you have to actively manage your relationship with your PEO, whether you've been with them for a while or you're just starting out.
That's a great transition to our next segment, where we'll talk about specific strategies and steps you can take to make the most of this PEO evolution. Stay with us.